of your questions. We can get some more lenders, the realtors and things like somebody, and then we'll also hold you accountable. What are you doing, guys? A lot of people have not done a deal, so I'll follow up with you and try to, make sure that if there is a rehab to be done, I'll ask you what is happening on that rehab. You give me updates and things like that. And I have my own website. We'll give you all the legal documents also, marketing samples if you need it. Again, you'll have access to all our, anyways you'll have those access, but you'll have whatever you need basically. You'll get all the documents and all our resources. So it's valued at a lot more. I'll give you a negotiation class also on how to put up the offers, but again, you are probably not even putting up the offers. I'll probably bring you the deals, but if you want to do it on your own, that's fine. We'll have access to like a Facebook group and all that, so you'll be able to network directly with me. You'll have access to me. All of those will be included, and today I'm giving it out at $997. So if you're looking to get started, I'll do one-on-one consulting for you for $997, like $1,000. We'll have 3 months of calls. If you take action in 3 months, I think you'll take it, because I'll be giving you deals almost every week, and those will be good deals. So if you are going to do it, we have the funds available from the hard money lenders. They'll give you the loan within 15 days, so you'll be able to do a deal. You might be able to do a deal in a month. I mean, you'll own your own property. It will just handheld basically. You can do it on your own too, but if you want my consulting, that way I will make sure that the deal is good, the funding is available, the rehab is done properly, and based on whether you want to buy and hold for rental property or you want to sell it, I will decide or guide you on what kind of rehab you should do on that particular property. Plus, when I meet you first time one-on-one or we talk, we'll decide whether you want to do flip or just buy and hold. And if you want to get into commercial, I'll try to push you for commercial also. So basically, if you want to do that, it's $997 today. And Shri is going to present. So that way now you will have something to get started. Yes, this will be for a year, but the calls will be only for 3 months, because I mean you will have access to me through email and everything.
But the point is that if you have not taken action in 3 months, then what are you going to do in 1 year, right?
But you can email. The one-on-one call that we do will be for 3 months. But I mean, it's just the start. If you are doing some action, then it will continue for a year. If you bought a property in that, then we can continue. I should say it's for a year, but then I don't want to be held accountable for every 2 weeks we have a call and things like that. If you have the deal, then I'll work with you. You can email me, you can put it, is it, so you'll have all the access and consulting. Just right click, you'll go to that. So if you want to do that, just let Dheeraj know or let me know, and I'll tell you how to move forward.
Hi everyone, my name is Shri, and I've been in Houston for 15 years. I'm into IT, like most of you guys, and I started investing in real estate and all that for the past 5 years. When Yogesh and I were talking yesterday, he mentioned about some meeting today, and he asked me if I can come in and share my knowledge. So I just quickly prepared some slides. It's nothing educational or anything, it's based on my experiences. I put some slides which I think may be useful for you. So I'm not a good speaker, I've never given any presentation, I'm not doing my real estate deals since I'm in diapers, so just take it with whatever you like it or you don't like it. So
modest, huh?
So, and probably you may think, you know, you will never encounter a bad speaker than me. So that's why.
Good.
And I just want to start with a story, right? You know, my story. I mean, when I was a kid, you know, I used to see, I mean, in 1990s or around that time in India, everybody was doing stocks. Like you can hardly find anybody who is not doing any stocks. And my dad was also doing all the stocks. At the time, he invested together with a couple of his friends, and he invested like a good amount of money, like 10 lakhs or something. It was a big amount then. And every time I used to see, my dad was happy or sad or one or the other, and I didn't know what it was for. But I later understood that it was mainly because of the performance of the stocks. When the stock market was doing good, you feel happy about it. When the stock market is doing bad, all of a sudden, for no reason, you feel sad, as if it's your mistake. Like Amazon dropped, or the market dropped 10%. What did you do in that? Why you have to be sad? And I never understood it. I mean, I was like very small then, and my dad forget about it. During the time it was a Harshad Mehta time, I guess. Everything crashed, and I don't know how many people know it or not, but it's not like investing online or anything. There were not even computers then. Everything was done on a paper. Like even you have to buy a stock, you got to call somebody in your local branch office or like some stockbroker, and you have to give him your order. He calls somebody in Mumbai, Bombay, then, and they confirm it, in the night. And if they are getting it at a good price, that our order will never get executed for you because he'll keep it. Only when you're lost, you will definitely, get those stocks. So that used to be fun, at that point of time. And I was like just monitoring it, just like I was a kid. Kids observe a lot. I think we had the same point in the morning too. And my dad was just doing all of this, just preparing all of those notes and all that. And long story short, after that stock market crash, my dad did not even had any interest in anything. All his 20 lakh portfolio went down to like, probably like a lakh or 50,000. So that winded up. Then what happened, after fast forwarding a couple of years, I started, I found a bill or like an invoice or something. I didn't know what it was. And it had a name called GE Shipping. It's the name of a company. And they sent a bill for like $750, 750 rupees. I didn't know what it was for. Like, why do we have to pay them? Why are they sending us a bill? 750 rupees is a big amount. So I talked to my dad, and he's like, forget about it. Just throw in the penny bag. He was maintaining a couple of bags, and I just wanted to put there. But there were like so many of these bills. Like I was like, what are you doing? I mean, are we supposed to pay them, and we're not paying them? So I got more anxious, and I talked to my grandfather, and he said, no, this is not a bill. This is a dividend that you're getting. Like this is like 700 rupees, and yes. So what do? You go and deposit in a bank, you get that money. Then why my dad is not doing that? I talked to my dad, and he's like so vexed because all his money is gone. He's not even cared. He's thinking, someday I'll deposit. And then, as usual, as a smart kid, I deposited it, I encashed it, I spent it. So that was like awesome. Every time I'm getting a check, I'm depositing it, taking the money, spending it. That's how I paid my engineering, fees. That's how I bought a bike. I was living lavishly, because it's free money for me. And my dad doesn't care. Right? So it was awesome. And then, one day it hit me hard. Like, why these companies are even paying us? Why? Then I did some research in Google. That at the time, we had Google Internet. And then, okay, this is the profit they're getting, and they're just giving us a profit. So ever since I've been into stock market, I'm a technical analyst for more than like 12, 15 years. I breathe and read stocks. I'm more passionate towards it. But then again, when the stocks are down, I used to turn sad. So whatever my dad did, exactly I became that after 15, 20 years later. Then I started finding ways, where, I can be assured that at least my money is safe. That's when I started looking into this passive investments, which is the real estate and all of that. So that's how I came into this. And one of the reasons that, real estate attracts us, you don't really lose anything. Even the loss are paper losses. You don't, unless you're leveraging so much, if you're buying for 100,000 and even if it drops like 10,000, it's not a loss. You just hold it. And as long as it is being rented, you're making net income out of it. Who cares? You keep it for 5 years. You sell it at profit. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. And there are some strategies, right? How many of you here are aware of the code called IRC 121? Does anybody know what IRC 121 means? So IRC 121 means, so if you hold a property for more than 2 years, if you live in a property for 2 years, in the total of 5 years, and you sell it, so if you're single, if you make 250K profit on it, you don't pay tax. If you're married, for 500K, you don't pay tax. So this is awesome. You buy a home, you stay in it for 2 years, call it your homestead, rent it out, move to a different home, do the same thing. So every profit that you get out of it is tax-free.
Does it work in the rental property? I mean, if you bought it.
As long as you lived there for 2 years.
You have to be in it for 2 years.
As long as you lived in the house for 2 years, any 2 years of your life.
It's on paper.
On paper, if you filed your taxes saying, oh, I lived in this house.
But you should not rent it for 2 years.
Yeah, for those 2 years, yeah, it shouldn't be rental.
In a 5-year period, you should be in it for 2 years. It need not be even continuous. So in the last 5 years, let's say in that home you were there 2 years and you rented it for 3 years, you sell it, the appreciation that you get in that is tax-free for you. So and that's how a lot of these people here, like white people, they became rich by accident. So we can use this strategy, just go buy nice houses and just keep doing this every 2 years.
But buy at a discount, so there is.
That is like another icing on the cake. But this is a strategy. So
You gotta live in there exclusively by yourself, or
you have to.
It has to be your primary residence.
You have to.
The clause is, if it is your primary residence 2 years out of the last 5 years.
So you bought it at 200, you stay there for 2 years, you sold it at 500, 300 is tax-free. After 2 years, you go and buy another home, do the same thing, sell it after 7 years, or within the 5 years. You need to be there 2 years, tax-free.
And I have done it 3 times.
So these are the things that you get to know when you start networking and you talk to people and all.
Not constantly. When my kid was young. Yeah.
So these are the things that you get to know when you talk to people. I didn't know this. Whenever I came to know this, I found this is pretty awesome. You can keep doing it, as long as you like moving and all that. So my presentation today is going to be like 5 or 10 minutes. It's not going to be more. I didn't know, I didn't have an agenda. So I just thought of, just coming up with some points which might be useful for somebody here. So that's what I came up with. And the other thing is the section
8.
Good.
Section 8?
Section 288. Does anybody know what section 288 is? So you can rent your home tax-free 14 days to anybody in a year. And you don't have to even report it.
14 days.
14 days in a year. So let's say you have your own company, you want to hold a business meeting, just use your own home and claim a deduction. That will be a deduction for your company, but you don't have to report the tax. So that is when you're trying to rent it. And let's say let's say you bought a home for 200 and now the value is 500 and you want to rent it instead of selling it. So don't do it personally. I'm not a CPA, but these are all the points that I gathered by talking to people. So you can actually form a company and you can sell it to a company so that the tax basis is different. So when you sell it, the tax basis is 200K, but when you sell it to your own company, the tax basis is 500K. Now you can claim deduction on the 500K instead of the 200K. So all the rents that you get on the 500K are nullified against the depreciation. You can depreciate real estate in like 27 years or whatever it is, right? So that means you're collecting your rent tax-free. So if you were to do it on your own, you end up paying taxes on the rent. But if you just sell it to a company, most probably like an escort, then you don't have to pay any taxes. So anybody whose house is appreciated and who is renting, probably this is a good strategy for them. So thought of sharing that. And even there are ways where you can use your IRA to fund your own business. That's called ROPS. You can Google it. So you can convert all your existing 401ks and previous employers and everything, and you can literally use it to fund your own business. You don't have to go anywhere. That's sitting right there in your bank. But if you want to take it on your own, there are some restrictions. You cannot loan from IRA for more than 60 days. But if you do like a ROPS thing, ROBS, you can Google it up. You have free money that will fund your business, any business. Just open a new business, take your old 401ks, and it will fund you. So these are the things, random things that I thought of sharing. And coming to multifamily real estate, right? The other things that really interested me were, what. So these are the questions I asked myself, like, why do we want to move away from stocks, or is there anything better than stocks? So, like I told you, like I've been into the stock market like for so many years, but still, I didn't want to go with all the fluctuations and all that. So I was starting to see, if there are any better options. And the answer was, and also you can help them, with the higher yields and all that. And if you want to syndicate, you can be much more than a rehabber. You can do the same deals, the same work, but your margin is going to be much higher. And there are other reasons too. And so, what do you call this? The Social Security, when it was set up, with the intention that people are not going to live longer, right? It was in the 1990, the life expectancy was around 49 to 50 years. So they were assuming that the government was betting that people will work until your end of the life and they die, so that you don't have to pay for it. And it changed in 1960. The life expectancy moved to like 70 years, and right now it is 79 years. So
79?
Yeah, average. So we are all paying taxes, and we are expecting that your Social Security is going to pay for all of this, but with this rate, I don't think how much money the government would have. So we need to care for ourselves, and we need to create our own passive income. So that was a compelling factor for me, to start to look for other alternatives.
Yeah, I want to make a good point here. When I got started, right, I mean, I was thinking about this, and the dreams were small, and I think back in 2000, early 2000, everybody of us probably were thinking, at least I was thinking, कि साला जिंदगी में 1 करोड़ रुपए हो इंडिया में, कि तो बस है, life set है. Back in late 90s and 2000, or like 2000, when I was graduating, the 1 crore was like really big amount. And my father didn't have 1 CR and all, right? So that was the goal at that time. And within 18 years, it has changed so much, and we don't know what is going to happen. So what happens is, like, we have those goals, and it can be 1 million here, or it can be 10 million, doesn't matter. But the way people think is, let's say you have $1 million when you are retiring, or $10 million, doesn't matter what. But at that $10 million, and you retire when you are working, your goal, or this thing is to die before that money expires. You cannot get, you can't be, bankrupt or without money. Of course, you'll have your children taking care of you and all. But the way we think is, we made this money, and before I die, it shouldn't be finished. Like, I can give it to. So that is how everybody thinks. I make money and then I retire, and by the time it will go down, right? Because let's say you retire at 60, and if the life expectancy is 79, I hope to live 100 years. But let's say it is 40 years, 30 years, and not just you, your wife also. So then it will be like both of you have to finish that money before you die and all that. But when you have these rental properties making you money, even if you retire, the money still keeps going up and up and up. You still keep getting money because the loan gets down, and the rent is always going to go up. So that is the goal. And when I got that, you had that why slide, and that really made me make my decision that I have to do this, because I have to have that income that keeps on going, and then you can pass on to your kids and all that.
You need to build on the passive income. So yes. I was like trying to, these are the reasons that were within my head, like, what if, what is the best way to create a passive income. I can't depend on the stocks, whatever, we have seen 2008, of course the market is right now high, but even that, I'm going to show you, some numbers that will change your mind. So we have seen stock market boom for the last 7 years non-stop, right? So I'll come to that, but let's also look at the healthcare cost. You look at the red line, that's been the cost of the healthcare from 1960. It's an 818% increase, and the line next to it, that's the GDP growth, and the 16% is the wage growth. So you're going to be hit with all this Medicare cost when you have very less income towards the end of your life, and that is a reality. And probably it's the number 1 or number 2 reason to file bankruptcy in this country is not because of the bad decisions you made, it's because of the bad health. You would one day or the other end up, towards the end of your life. So at that point of time, when you're not working, the only dependency that you can count on is your passive income. It can be anything. It can be, real estate, or it can be anything. But these are my thinking and these are my ideas. I want to build on passive income. It can be anything. I'm just sharing my views. That's all. So this is the stock market return for the past 17 years. So from January 1st, 2001 to December 31st, 2008. You have a link here. You can just Google it. You can do it yourself. So this one, you can even use for inflation adjusted, including dividends. Okay, even including dividends. So if you were to put $1, it grew to 1.99, which means you doubled your money in the 17 years. That's it. So that is the return you got in the stock market for the last 17 years, if you account for your inflation and all that. Because you got to account for inflation too, right? A lot of times you only look at what money we are making, but at what time frame and what is the cost to make that is also important. So there's a link below that. You can just do it yourself, and these are all actual numbers. These are all not even made up numbers. So with 2%, so the returns are like just bare minimum. The CAGR of 4.13 is what we have in the stock market until like 2017. Maybe it's a little higher now, I don't know, or with the recent drop, it may be even lower. So this is a number for you for which most of you do not know. So if you were to invest, $100, and if your money grows at 2%, in the 30 years you're going to make just $182. But if it grows at 10%, you're going to make the $100 turns into $1,984, which is closer to $2,000. But if your money grows at 18%, you're making at $21,270. That is the difference. The difference is because of the compounding. So if every year you were able to find something that can make you higher returns, and also with a margin of safety, this is the difference in the number that you're going to end up with, right? And let's look at it from the other end. Let's say you want to have a 15,000 passive income, after 30 years, right? So 15,000 may look a lot to you now, but with the inflation and all that adjusted, it is a very small number after 30 years. So you got to make 30. What is that? 30,530 per month needs to be in your investment. No, it's opposite. So if you want to 50,000, this is what you need to. And you can do the math, right? With 18%, you need to save only like 433 a month, kind of stuff. So these are the reasons that made me look for, alternative passive income. And multifamily, like, Yogesh covered, it's 5+ unit is called multifamily. Anything before that is still considered as, single family, especially when you're going to banks and, talking to people. That's the industry standard. And this is the net cap. I just want to cover this for a minute. So if you buy a single family property and you increase rent for $100, it's going to be just $100 profit for you. That's it. Or like, multiplied by number of months. But if you do the same thing in a property, right? And so let's say you have a 200 unit and which is at a 7 cap rate. A cap rate is nothing but it's the net operating income divided by the purchase price. It doesn't include the debt services. So if you have a property at 7 cap and it has a 200 unit in it, and you just increase the property, rent or whatever the income by $25 a month, right? Just at $25. It's very easy to increase $25. So the value of the property increases by $857,000. So whether you find a buyer or not, you can always go to a bank and say that, you know what, my property has increased in value. Now give me a better loan, give me a better rate, right? So there are all ways you can find property which are not doing good. You can just put a lipstick around it, just increase a little bit amenities, or like Yogesh was covering a lot of those, right? How you increase the value. So even if you increase by $25 a month, this is the value that you're going to increase on the property. So doesn't this fascinate you? With the same amount of work, you literally increased like $1 million on your property for doing nothing.
You can do that every year.
Yep. And a lot of times people ask me, hey, what is it? How many years does it take? If somebody wants to venture into multifamily, usually it is 2 to 7 years. I say 2 years because right now the market is very hard, and when you find a property in a good price, a lot of times you find people asking you, hey, do you want to resell it? Do you want to resell it? I'll give you like 200,000 more. I'll give you 500,000 more. So in that scenarios, you can just get all your profit in 2 years. But let's say you are in the top of the cycle, and let's say there's a crash in the real estate, then you may want to sit on it for seven years. But whichever property you buy, you got to make sure that it is giving you enough cash flow, so that you're always paying your mortgages and you're still making some money. So there are 3 classes in the multifamily, right? A, B, and C. A is something that's like top class, near gallerias or near downtown and all, where they're in perfect condition and they always have renters, but you make very less. And B are the ones that we usually prefer to buy, so that you can always B or C. Nowadays it's easier to find C because that's where you have some deals. All the B's are also gone. A's we don't even touch it. So right now the strategy is to buy some C properties. C properties is like, they're like mediocre ones. They're not perfect, but you can turn them into at least closer to perfect, or you can increase the value by doing some work, so that you can increase the value of the property, and then you make some money. We are not here to just put a statue in buildings, right? We are not here for that. We are here to make money. So the way and the easier way that I think in my view is right now in this market is to find a C-class property and increase its value and make it a B and sell it. And D is like a war zones, like those places, they never get improved. A lot of times you hear from realtors that, hey, right now there's a lot of crime here, but you're buying for like 10 years, right? So by the time all that will go away. So you are increasing that, you are increasing all the value of it. I would personally recommend not doing anything in that, especially you've seen cases like Detroit and all, never improves. It has been like that for like 30 years. I'll show you statistics where people are literally fleeing that city. They're not even running away, they're fleeing away. So when you have nobody staying there, your investment is a total risk. So these are the things to consider. Some of the shortcomings of the multifamily is it's illiquid. You cannot just put 50,000 today and take it out after 6 months. If you are in that scenario, I would recommend not doing that. And you don't have control most of the time. If you're investing in somebody else's property, it's always done through a property, and you cannot do a 1031 exchange. For people who know 1031 exchange, normally you cannot do it as a 1031 exchange. And these are the new.
Can you repeat the last point on 10? Can you talk more on that?
Yeah. So 1031 exchange is a smarter way of, this is one of the features in real estate which I really like about it. So you have a property, you bought it for like 200,000. It increased it to 500,000. Now you sell it, right? So you end up paying taxes on the 300,000. But if you do it like a 1031 exchange, meaning you put all that money with the custodian, the 1031 guy, then you have like, I think 90 days, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have 90 days to find another property, and you can use all this money to buy the property without paying tax.
And sometimes you can go up to 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Some
You have
time
to-
period,
you have to
but you have to have.
Yeah, you have to.
identified-
Yeah.
First you get 45 days,
Yep.
but then there are ways to change the property or
Yep.
whatever in 90 days.
You always have some
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
around.
You can work around and.
Rule is 45 days, you have to inform them about.
But isn't this awesome that you don't have to pay taxes as long as you keep on increasing the value and just moving and keep on buying the new property? That's awesome, right? Where else can you find it? Even in your Roth IRAs, you can only do like for 5,500. That's it. Everything else is taxable. So this is all you keep on doing it forever as long as you can find good deals, or you keep on moving from one to the other. So these are the analysis. Can I even read this? So these are some of the statistics from various sources, where even
Can't see anything.
yeah. I think the brightness is a little bit more. So even though we see like a lot of people buying homes, that usually is coming from people around us who are like making like 6 figures and all. But if you look at the national average, I'll show you some numbers. Even right now, people are preferring to rent for various reasons. It's not just they're not able to get a mortgage, or it's not that they don't have money. It's just that they don't want to deal with all these headaches. So even especially with the baby boomers and all, this is the statistics, right? So the people who are in apartment, the question asked was, do you anticipate becoming a homeowner in the next 5 years? And the apartment dwellers said only 44% that they want to buy a home, and 49 said they don't want to. Even the individual property renters, like who are owning the individual houses, even they don't want to buy a home. So these are all statistics. You can Google it. These are not my numbers, but I just want to give you analysis of why does it make sense to even get into this field? How risky or how lucrative this this sector is. When you know all these numbers, that's when you get a comfort zone. Like, hey, this sector is so big. Maybe there's a piece for me in that. If you think hey, everybody is buying a home, nobody's going to rent it, then you always have the feeling that I should never do this. I should never invest in multifamily, or I should never invest in real estate. And the people who can get a mortgage, they're like 31%. Don't want to own is 41%. Enjoy renting is these are all statistics. These are all not even my numbers. So there's enough reason to get into this sector. Go ahead.
Where do you get this data from? I mean, what website? If you don't mind, I'll answer.
I'll give you the list.
Okay.
It's in my. I'll send you that.
Okay. Thanks.
So, and there are various other reasons, like they want to stay in a good schools, neighborhood, parks, but the houses are so high. They cannot afford a $500,000 home in a sugar land. What are the options for them? And sometimes they want to live. All these baby boomers, they want to live closer to where their kids are. So they are selling their house, and they're moving closer to where their kids are. Of course, they can't stay with the kids here. They're renting it out. And this is the ownership. Look at this blue line. These are the homes. The percentage of home ownership has declined rapidly. With all the people who are younger age, like 25 to 35 years, they're not buying as much as the people in the older generation used to buy. So the rent is a new buy. So you have like, the sector is so big, you can always have a piece in it. People who are starting now, they may be thinking, hey, there are already people doing it. Will I start? Where will I be? Will I have an opportunity in this? Yes, absolutely. Based on these numbers, and I think I should have brought some, and this is from Census Bureau. This is the source, right? You can Google it up, you can find it. These are from them. So the baby boomers, right? They're not even keeping their home. They're just selling their home and moving to the apartments. So if you look at this map of US, right? So the one in the blues, the blue patches, and you see some in the yellow patches and orange patches. These are the ones in the blue are like cheap properties. Their growth is not good. They're just they're for people who are rehabbing, and they're just selling it to you. They're just making some quick money, and they're projecting it as you're going to make a lot of money. So these are the places that you need to be careful of. But the places that that are in orange and yellow are the ones that you want to buy and hold, right? Rest of the places are good for flipping. You just make a quick money and move on. And why do I have this slide of entire country when we are in Houston? It's for a simple reason. Even when I started, I always used to think, I need to find something in Houston. I need to find something, not even in Houston, I need to find something in Katy. I need to find something where I can drive to. You do not really, because you are not going to be the person going there to keep, fixing the toilets or, collecting the rents. There are always people who can do that. So, knowing this information is always going to make a difference. Let's say you have two deals. One in, the place where the prices are appreciating rapidly, and one in the place where the prices are not appreciating. Knowing this information, would it make a difference in where you want to invest? So the thing is, a lot of times we make it more complicated than it is required. We just need to use our common sense, whether it is investing or anything. So all this data is available freely in the internet. And being a engineer, left-minded guy, I always try to look at anything from a numbers point of view, right? What is it going to appreciate? How much my, let's say I put 100,000, how much it's going to appreciate? And what is the reason behind that? And this is the data that would support my reasoning, right? And these are like real numbers. And this is one of the, based on those numbers, we predicted, Outlook predicted that, where Amazon make a second headquarters. These are the older slides still. So,
can you explain that? What is it? I'm very interested in Amazon these days. So what is it saying?
So we are predicting where Amazon is going to come. Second headquarters.
Texas.
So this is what we were predicting. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
The lights were, need to keep the lights off?
So there are all these data points from various sources, right? And we were trying to just crunch those numbers and trying to see where it makes Amazon to come up with the second headquarters. Based on that, we were betting on those places. We were trying to find deals in those places. Because when a company like Amazon comes to the place where you are investing, it changes the whole dynamics, right? Just like you were saying, Exxon has changed the woodlands. Why can't we apply the same principle for the biggest company on the world? Amazon trying to build its second headquarters. What if you try to find an apartment there, and you hope that they come to the city and you eat a hotel. You're not doing anything extra. So based on that, we thought the #1 spot goes to Atlanta, and there are various reasons for it, and there are various numbers backing it. You have a good tech talent pool, supply chain, huge airport, low cost of living, and it's far away from their current headquarters. And the other place they can go is Virginia. The main reason is they want to influence all these lawmakers. So that may be the other place. But we had a deal in Atlanta, so now you see why my choice of Atlanta works, right? But we did not buy based on Amazon. This is like, if it comes, it is better. If not, that's fine. But we wanted to buy or invest in something which made sense by itself. And if Amazon comes tomorrow, that's a bonus. So, but the reason that we invested in Atlanta was, we were getting it very cheap, like 62,000 versus 84,000 just the next door. It's almost like identical apartments. And then there was also like a sports complex that was building in the next 1 year. It's all funded and everything is there. and there's not even a single apartment that was built in the last 30 years in that locality. So, and it's very closer to downtown. So based on this, we went ahead with Atlanta. But these are our predictions, so let's see if it happens or not. And so there are 3 ways you can make money in a real estate. You can flip, you can fix and flip, right? You can buy and hold, and and cash flow. So these are the markets. If you know this data, would it make a difference where you want to invest in? So let's say you're looking for appreciation, right? See, these are given by Forbes, Trulia, Realtor.com, Yardi Matrix. Everything is on the internet. But a lot of times, what we do is we complicate things. We always have a predetermined notion. I only want to invest in Houston. I only want to invest in something. So you remove that. The entire country is your backyard. Go and find deals wherever it is. Just analyze the deal based on what it is worth. These numbers are right there. So let's say you're looking for appreciation. As per Forbes, Trulia, and Realtor, these are the markets that you need to be in. And if you're trying to make a quick fix and flip, these are the markets. And they're telling it based on all the numbers they have. So why can't we just use it? Just like the McDonald's and the Dunkin' Donuts thing, if already somebody is doing it, you don't have to do this. Just go and find some deal in that city. And this is for cash flow, Sacramento and all. This is for cash flow. So I make my judgment based on these numbers. This is something that I follow, and I thought it might be useful for somebody who's trying to make a decision. Hey, you know what? If I want to do a fix and flip, which market do I choose? If I want to hold it for appreciation, which market do I choose? So here you go. These are all the numbers for 2018 and 19. If you look at individual California, so this is what all these BTs think about California. So you have a lot of these cash flowing markets: Sacramento, Riverside, Los Angeles, Santa Ana, all this. You get it right, what category they fall into. This is for California, and this is for Texas. So Dallas, El Paso, San Antonio. We have a lot of markets here. So if you buy something in, let's say Dallas is in three of these, buckets. So if you find a good deal in Dallas, so you can not only get appreciation, you can also make some money. If you're trying to flip it, you can also hold it for cash flow. So I want to be in these markets rather than the markets like Detroit or anywhere, then, where there's a good chance of losing. So what I mean to say is, what I want to give you here today is there's a lot of data out there. You can just make use of the data, and you can make an educated guess. When you know all this data, all your fear will, at least go down to a certain extent. Hey, when the biggies are telling that, I can make money in this market, then you have an added, what you call confidence, right?
Not Houston.
What?
Not Houston.
There's no Houston, according to them. Probably will be there in the next year.
Not in top 10.
These are the top 10, You know what? Houston may be 11, but these are the top 10s, right?
When was this? Which year?
This is 2018 April. So these are the predictions for the 2018. So every year we get all this data. In 2019 again we're going to get it. Based on that, we try to choose a deal. If you have 2 deals, right? You try to choose one where you have like better chances of making profit. If you want to look at Florida, these are the places that you need to be investing in. And Florida, there's a lot of price growth, especially in the Orlando area. There's something going on. They're building a new freeway or something. So they are listed here. So that's it. So I thought of sharing some random thoughts, whatever I know. So it's not an education or like on the blue or something. I just use this number. So this is out there on the market, and when you're making a decision, a lot of times wherever you're investing, you need to look at the surroundings. You don't need to worry about what's happening in the entire country. You just need to be specific about your deal. So I hope it helped. If not, you got to excuse me for that.
Thank you so much. It was
Awesome. Thank you. And The good thing about that is when you get into commercial, you get access to this data, and the smart people will be using it. And a lot of I've seen that in other groups also. They use this kind of data, and you can do. It's available for last 10 years, so you can see which city was 95, and now all of a sudden it is at 55, and then this year it is at 23. Then you can see that looks like there is something happening, and all that. We're all we can do so much analysis. So what I want to do right now is invite Dheeraj to come and talk about the rehab. So if you are going to be doing some buy and hold or buy and flips, you should know how much it costs to fix the house or anything. So you'll get basic idea about how much is the cost for everything almost.
Okay, folks, all of us are techies here, so just gonna share a simple spreadsheet with you. Pretty big, right? But we're gonna go over a little bit, little by little. I'm not gonna bore you with all the lot of details. Just a little rehab estimator, right? And one of the things that I think we shared it with you at one of our webinars that we did recently, right? How do you scope this thing? Right? So this is just one of the rental rehab estimator, or you would say a flip estimator, right? So this is how we basically go about every tiny detail on how do you estimate a particular deal, right? And we don't use it a whole lot now that we are kind of, we can't call ourselves pro, but now that we are kind of semi-pros, right? We don't really use this much, and this will even be emailed to you free, so don't worry about taking pictures or anything. You can just ask for it and get it. Okay? So this is kind of one of the very, very, very detailed spreadsheets that I have, right? What are the things you need to worry about when you are doing rehab? I'll just cover the major sections. Each one of them is small little detail included in it, right? So if you're doing a flip, what are you going to do? You're probably going to do the appliances, or you could use a printout of this when you're going to analyze a property, right? Or you could probably use this to give it to your lenders to say, hey, this is my estimates. Look more organized when you send it to your lenders, saying, hey, this guy knows it. He's already factored in all the things that needs to the property, right? Makes it more credible for you, right? So we've got appliances, dishwasher, disposal, stove, refrigerator, water heater, all the small things. Baseboards, there is a basic cost by linear foot on baseboards. How much linear foot you want to put on baseboards, right? What kind of blinds you're going to put? Is it a rental property, or is it a flip, right? If you're going to flip a property, you probably want to put a little bit of high end, so you can adjust the prices there, right? So maybe instead of $25 each, you probably want to put like a $40, $50 blind, right? If you're doing a high end flip, then you probably want to put a little bit of a higher price blinds in there, right? Cabinets, what kind of cabinets you're going to put in there? Like kitchen, like everybody says, kitchens and bathrooms. That's what sells the house, right? Raise your hands who disagree with me. What? Is there anything else that helps you sell the house?
Master bedroom.
Master bedroom? You think your master bedroom better than the kitchen they can sell the house?
Kitchen and bathrooms.
Kitchen and bathroom.
Actually, kitchen is why because normally,
Bathrooms too. Kitchen and bathroom.
normally female make decision And she is the one who likes.
Well, I didn't say it, he said it. So everybody knows who's the boss, right?
Yeah.
So who makes that decision? You gotta have a beautiful kitchen, guys,
Yeah.
okay? So yeah, what is your cabinets gonna look like? Countertops, right? You're gonna put like beautiful granite countertops. You can spend thousands of dollars. One of the houses that I did, we sold it for $550. The countertop, one countertop, the island countertop I put in there was a $3,500 island countertop. Just for the slab I paid $3,500. And the labor was almost north of $1,500 to $2,000. But as soon as somebody walked into that house and they looked at that kitchen island, it is something called leather granite. You touch on that, you feel like you're touching leather. Right? Sold the house, $550K. I bought it for $185. By the way.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I put in a lot of work in there, but what sells the house, right? Kitchen sells the house, right? So yeah, you can kind of estimate. These are just rough numbers. Obviously, we have a list of like A vendors where we can get stuff cheaper. There are a lot of things where you can save on a lot of things on kitchens and cabinets, and there are a lot of prefabricated granite, this, that, and everything else. Right? And once you start doing these things, you have your own account with these people. You will start getting the discounts that you're supposed to get. So when we buy our materials for construction, we buy it at deep discounts. You go to a person, they're going to tell you like $30, $40, $50 square foot. We probably get it for 20. There's like more than 40-50% of margin in there. You just gotta keep doing that, build the rapport, and you're gonna start getting the benefits. There's a lot of things like doorbell. Even doorbell is included here. Basic doorbell, if you're gonna put like $35. What kind of doors you're going to put in there? Like interior doors, like the closet doors and your hallway doors, or your what do you call it? All your inside doors for bedrooms and stuff like that, right? The front door. So what kind of doors you are going to put in there, right? Door knobs. There is smoke alarms, fencing, right? So fencing goes by linear foot. So what kind of fence you are going to install? This is probably a year-old pricing, 17. Nobody does it at 17 anymore. But you can still find some people who will do it for you at that price. Flooring, right? What kind of rental grade carpet you want to put? You want a standard or resell grade carpet? I think Yogesh was talking about based on what kind of a strategy you have, right? That is the kind of rehab you are going to do, right? So it's just going to help you analyze, okay, what is the grade of floor you are going to put? Are you going to put flooring, laminate, tile, wood floor? Are you just going to refinish the floors? It may already have beautiful floors, and all you need to do is just scrape the wood and refinish it, right? That's one of the things. Does it need any foundation repair, right? Does the house need foundation repair? Does it need a garage door, single door, double door? Like what kind of doors it needs? How many tons of condenser does it need? Some of these places need some upgrading, but is the air conditioning working? If it's not working, what is the square footage? Based on the square footage, then you can put how many tons of air conditioning you're going to need, right? You bring the AC people up, you can get like 3-4 estimates, go with the best one that you think it is, right? Landscaping, right? The second thing that sells the house.
Yeah.
Curb appeal, right? The more beautiful your landscaping is, somebody drives up to your driveway, oh man, this house looks beautiful. You're already impressing them on the street. People are passing your house for sale sign, oh my goodness, such a beautiful house, right? Even before you step into the house, your landscaping, put some money in landscaping, right? So what grade of landscaping are you going to do? You're going to do basic. Renters, do they care about your landscaping? Little bit. Are they going to pay you more money for the landscaping? No. Are they going to pay you $50 more in rent? So yeah, you probably spend less when you're doing a rental, right? But if you're doing a flip, you might probably want to even, I've done houses where you spend like $2,000, $3,000 in landscaping because you have the wow factor. Saying somebody walks through the driveway, right? You got to wow with it. Lighting, what kind of lighting fixtures you're going to use, right? Pendants, recessed lighting, ceiling fans, everything is kind of put in detail as to what kind of mirrors you're going to put in the bathroom. You're going to put like one single mirror for a rental grade, or if you're flipping it, you want to put like framed mirrors. You want to go with the basic quality, high quality, stuff like that. You can always adjust prices based on whatever it is, but it helps you cost for each small thing before going into the deal, right? What kind of paint you are going to do, and kind of exterior paint, interior paint, plumbing details. There's like bathtub, bath faucet, and stuff like that. All of this stuff, folks, adds up. Okay? When you're doing rehabs, if you don't go to that detail level, I mean, now we're not going there because we've done so many deals. But in the beginning, this is the routine you kind of go through. So you can understand that, hey, what are we looking at, right? Otherwise, then you go make trips to Home Depot, and this stuff keeps adding up all of a sudden. Hey, I did not factor in those $5,000 in the rehab, but I had to buy lighting fixtures, I had to buy mirrors, I had to buy this, that, and everything else. So now it's added up to the cost, right? What kind of, if you need just roof wash, or you want to put a new roof, how many squares of roof you need, right? How many patches of sheetrock you want just patching up, or you want just a few touch-ups, or you need like full sheets of sheetrock, right? Sinks, how many sinks you are going to need? Do you need a double stainless steel kitchen sink? And details like that. What kind of baths around? What kind of showers around you're going to do? Are you going to do beautiful backsplash? Right, one of the factors in the kitchen, right? So all of that is like tiling. Toilets, how many toilets you're going to need? How many trailers of trash are you going to take out of the house? So if you're buying a house that has a lot of trash in it already, and which a lot of houses we have bought, you pay a fare for just 3 trailer loads of trash. You just go out there, you put a trailer load, the contractors just take 2 days just to dump all the trash out of the house, right? And guess sometimes what happens after that?
They come and ask.
When that trash goes out, that's one thing, they come and ask for permits and stuff like that. But the other thing is, sometimes you realize all this trash is gone. Oh, such a beautiful house. I have done that to one house, I bought that house for $130,000. Took 2 truckloads of trash out of it, like 2 trailer loads of trash out of it. Took nice pictures of it, put it back on MLS. Sold it for $169,000. 15 days. Because with all that stuff in there and all the stink and all that, we just left the windows open, let the stink out, put a primer in there, it's called Kills. All the smell is gone, 15-20 days. And the floor looks beautiful. Everything looks clean now. Put it back on the market, somebody wants to flip it, they bought it for it. We've done that to a house. It was on a Sharpstown community. By 59 and Bel Air. So, trash removal. I think that apartment complex also, right? We how many? 50 trailer loads of trash?
No, more than that.
50 or 60, 70 trailer load of trash took out, and we sold the apartment. So there's a lot of details like fascia replacement, soffit replacement. You may not understand most of these stuff. Each one of them, if you just kind of Google it out, saying what is fascia, what is soffit, right? You'll get to understand what this is. Each of them cost money. Okay, folks? There is a price per linear foot. There is some labor. Some of them may have changed depending on what contractor you get, right? The more detailed you are, the more detailed you can be with your contractor, right? What kind of a vanity you want? 24 foot, 30 foot, 60 foot, 48, 24 inch, 30 inch, 60 inch bathroom vanity, right? So it just goes on, right? There's one of the most important things out here, the punch out list, right? Final touch-ups. We said $300. A lot of times you can have like 3 punch out lists. Keep going and going and going, and you end up spending like almost $1,000, $1,200 just doing punch out, right? Your final small details, minor details. I left this, I left that. Hey, these knobs are missing. This is missing. That is missing. I didn't buy the right light fixture or something. It's not looking great. I need to change out the mirror or something like that. Or you forgot to paint this. Now the contractor already left. The job is over. He's not coming back for small things. You got to hire some handyman sometimes. And you pay them like every time they make a trip. You got to pay them. Sometimes you have inspections, and something's not working. You got to pay that, right? So factor out some of the things, right? $300, $400, $500, $1,000 maybe for that, right? So as you get more experience, I think these things fall out slowly. You start giving credits to your buyers. Hey, I'll just give you a credit for $500. You fix all of this. You can do that too.
Was the roof included?
Yeah, there is a roof in there. Yeah. what kind of roof do you want to put there? Roof, they go by squares. How many squares of roof do you know? So it's not by square footage. It's kind of, how many squares of roof do you need to buy? And then there's like an installation cost to that, right? So when Home Depot or Lowe's or somebody sells you the roof, they sell you by squares. How many squares you need? Not by square feet.
And
I think 1 square is what? 3.5 square feet? 3 or 3.5 square feet or something like 1 square.
And the labor for all this.
So most of these are including the labor cost.
Oh,
Right. Most of these are including the labor cost. Some places, like I said, right, some of the prices may have changed a little bit here and there, but most of these are including the labor cost. So any questions you have on that? I didn't itemize each and every, like you said, it's like 100 plus lines. I'll probably spend the whole evening explaining that to you. But any other questions apart from roof or
So,
anything else? Anybody want to add something here?
do you have like multiple people specializing in this, or you have all of them?
Oh, we have our contractors we work with like for several years, right?
Oh,
And then sometimes you bring in like an AC person if you need an AC person from outside, or sometimes your guy is too busy, then you gotta, go out. But we have A-list vendors and B-list vendors, and so once you're, once you've done 50 plus deals, you kind of know who you want to use and stuff like that.
this is what you're offering the club leverage.
Oh yeah, we can definitely,
What is the question, sir?
are you using,
So
offering that in the club to leverage?
I mean, we have list of contractors that you can work with. You can go to angislist.com or different
Yellow pages.
yeah, where you can find good contractors. If you just Google it these days, you can find a lot of contractors. Send at least 3 contractors to get the bids. Average it out. Initially, if you're going to start, send 10. Who cares? They give you free estimates. Some of them charge $75 to go there and give estimates. They probably are good quality contractors, so you get to learn about that. So you can use yours. We have some contractors that we have worked with. We can give you a list of the contractors as well.
And in the beginning, when you're starting, go with them. Just don't send them. Sometimes, go with them. You get to learn.
Yes. There will be inspectors, home inspectors. They charge around $250 or $300 to do the whole inspection, and they will give you 30-40 pages of inspection report. So go with the inspector also. Go follow him. What do you look for when you look at this? What do you see? What do you learn from them? Understand the concept initially. And if you are part of the group, if somebody has bought it, then go on his house. You don't even have to do yours. Learn. If you want to be, more analytical, I like to just jump in the water. I mean, if you have some guidance and all, jump in the water, do the deal. If the numbers make sense, if there is $20,000, $30,000 to be made, that's how you learn, or learn from the leverage of other people who are doing it. The goal behind this is for you to know at least the basic prices if you don't know anything about it. So average, how much it is. Some people might charge more, some might do it for even less than what we are saying. So it depends. So it's just to give you basic,
Much is.
just to give you basic things.
I have one comment regarding inspection report. Actually, we can use inspection report to negotiate the cost on the seller actually.
Yeah.
Because you have all the proofs. And
Yes.
you can say this much is going to cost to fix it. Can you reduce the price? So typically sellers will give better price after that.
And then, when you're selling, the buyer will do the same.
Or you
know what
fix
the
it.
problem-
But you know what the
fix
problem
it,
is, right? And
Yeah,
you fix
but
it.
if you fix it all,
Right. I'm just saying, so you got to be careful on both sides. But yeah, when you're buying, you have an inspection report. It costs only $250. One day it takes for the inspector to go there, a couple of hours. But they have seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses. So they will tell you, this is wrong. They just look at the paint and they'll tell you, there has been termite in this house. Termite treatment, $800, $1,000. We have people who can do it for $250, $300, $400, right? But it costs money. But you can now negotiate down $1,500 because we don't know how much termite is there. We got termite, right? Because the termite might have eaten some 2x4s and the stuff might collapse. What is going to cost you that, right? So, but very good point. Thank you. Any questions on rehabs? I think
So this pricing increase for how many years? Like 5 years, they raise by $2, $5.
You know, a lot of times some of the prices don't change for years. You just gotta keep changing vendors sometimes, you know. Let's say, you know, I was getting this much, you know, some of the vendors now
This
disappear.
is what is happening for last couple of years.
Couple of
you can
years,
say.
Okay.
It was probably low, long back, but this is what he used last. I mean, this year.
Yeah.
On the Malaysian
Last-
house, right?
Yeah,
So this is what we are doing right now.
yeah.
So
This is-
all based on market research. This price is.
These are the actual prices.
These are like the actual,
Cost.
the actual costs, and you know, some of them we kind of just go in and update. Just keep a blank sheet ready for us, and then once you are
Every time you
ready
see-
to analyze the deal, then you can just keep
I
updating.
guess his question is if we can send these
Oh yeah, yeah,
three
that,
different contractors
that we already, yeah.
to do all these things, you might get three different codes, and then there can be variation like $10,000 variation or something. We can
For the whole-
best. Something like this.
You also have a tentative acquisition percentage and also closing cost?
Tentative acquisition percentage as far as the closing cost?
No. If somebody has listed a property, for me to go get that,
Uh-huh.
I would incur some costs, right? And there would usually be a tentative percentage on what
So,
they list.
generally when you're buying a property for MLS, which is multiple listing sites like HR.com or Zillow or something like that, the seller generally pays the agent's commissions. The cost that you incur is the cost of your money. So you don't basically end up paying any commissions per se, but the cost at which you are bringing the money, right? So if you're buying a house for yourself to live in, Bank of America may not charge you any points at all, right? But at the same time, when you're going like, you were here when David was here, right? So they generally charge you like 2 points, he said, right? 2 points, yeah. So 2 points just to origination, but then that's for the speed you're paying for that, right? So that's the cost of acquisition. They charge you 2%, and then there is some documentation fee and stuff like that. So you can't really average it out, depends on, if it's a bigger loan, then the percentage might be lower. If it's a smaller loan, then you might think that it's a higher percentage, because the fixed costs are already there, right?
Right. That's why I was asking a tentative. If it's like 2 or 3%, at least we'll have.
It goes up to, it can go up to 4 to 5%, 6% also. If it's a very small deal, then you may feel that, hey, I'm already paying $6,000 for 100,000.
Again, it depends on the deal. If you buy it low enough, if the property is worth 100, they are going to give you 75,000 loan on that. Now you figure out how much it is going to cost you, and then let's say it's going to cost you 15,000 or 20,000. So 75 minus 20 would be 55. That's what probably you will offer. You might offer even for 45, 50, for example, and then you come to 55. Or if you buy that for 65 and you know that 10,000 is what you'll have to bring to the closing. That will be your investment, because you are getting the loan for 75.
So end of the day, when we talk about percentages, what percent is the acquisition cost and all that, I'll just give you a simple example, and I think David was talking about it this morning. I'll just refresh it, and I'll tell him, I think you guys, Jackwood deal, you remember Jackwood?
Yes.
Right? I had lenders out there, right, who told me, hey, you know what you should do if you buy this property? Go out there one night, buy good insurance on it and go put a match and say that the house burned down, right? I was buying it for $55,000, okay? I was buying it for $55,000. David did the loan for us. The appraisal I was thinking was going to come out at say 100,000. He was just saying that buy it at 55% or something. The appraisal I was thinking was probably going to be like 100, 105. Well, the appraisal came out at $127,000, right? So guess what happened now? The whole deal basically got funded because I was buying it for 55. They paid 55. I paid 6,000 closing cost in the beginning with the 3% and the documentation fee and everything. Maybe $4,000, $5,000 or $6,000. I can't remember now. But my repair was say close to $15,000 or $18,000. But they were willing to lend me up to what is 75%? We were going to do rental on that. So 127, 75%, no, 89,000, 90,000, right? 89 something, right? 0.75. Yeah, $95,000, right? So I don't know if you were paying attention. He said patio repairs. Was somebody paying attention when he said patio repairs? Right? So my repair was like 15 or 16. He said, hey, patio repairs, make it 22, 23. So the closing cost that you're paying from your pocket right now will come. Just give me 3 steps of repair. Tell me this is 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, right? When you get your draw, get all your money back. Within 5 weeks, we did all the repairs. All the closing cost I had put in the property, I got it back within the repair money. Because my repair was $15,000 or $16,000, I can't remember exact numbers. But I got 20 to 23 back because there was enough money in the deal. They could lend me up to 95, right? And I bought it for 55. My repair was, I think foundation came up, so my repair went to say 23. So we were in it for like 78,000. And I basically got my money back. So I owned the property free. Few properties I've owned for, you get 4,000 to just own the property. When there is enough money in the deal, you actually get paid to just own the property. And now I have renters in there, paying me rent for lifetime.
So just to clear, the appraisal is done for the after repair.
After repair value, right? So the way the process works is you send, when they send in an appraiser, you send them a repair list. When you already sent the contractors out, you send them a repair list saying, hey, these are the things I'm going to do. The lender will basically give this to the appraiser saying, hey, the house is dirty, but this is what they're going to do to it, right? The appraisers know the numbers by looking at it, They also know the level of confidence on, how seasoned, can this be done for this cost, right? They kind of know. So when they appraise, they say, okay, if these things are done to the property, it will appraise for this much, right? As is, yeah, you probably get like a very, very low value. But when they go in there and they analyze the after repair value and they see that you're going to put $40,000 in the house, right? Then they're going to say, hey, if you do all of these things, is it more marketable? One more thing, guys, and Ravi, thank you for bringing up that point, right? If it's a bad house, right? Is it marketable? Will you get a regular loan for it? If you go to a regular bank, how long do you think it will take to get a loan for it? 2 months, 3 months? They're going to ask you all sorts of questions. Like, who's your contractor going to do this? Do you have the money? Show me the money to do the repairs. Show me this, show me that, right? And especially if it's not your primary residence, the scrutiny goes times 10. Because you know what? You have always got the option to walk away from it if it's not your primary residence, right? So if you're buying it as a rental or a rehab property, the banks will kind of scrutinize it 10 times over. Because it's just not a regular loan, it's not your primary house. So that is where you need, better rehab lenders, right? That is where you need this after repair value estimate, where lenders will lend you based on after repair value, not on the as is value. So if you're going to a bank, you will still need to put 20% down of as is value and fund the repairs yourself. So by the time the deals that I was mentioning, we were buying it for 55,000, right? So I would have probably put 10,000 in that and another 23 in repairs. So $35,000 I would be out of pocket if I did that deal. Out here, I was out of pocket zero. Had I known enough, I would have probably padded my repair another $5,000 or $10,000 because the loan was ready to go up to 95. But this is like 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. But just giving you an example, putting things in perspective. Any other questions?
How much you sold that for?
I think we sold it. We were trying to sell it for 119. We got 3 offers for 119 after like a couple of months. And one day, one lady was selling her house, and she tried getting stuff out of the market, and she couldn't get anything. And her closing was on Thursday. She came to us on Saturday. And I said, hey, I got these 3 offers for 119. I'm just kind of thinking about whom to accept. What are you going to give me extra? He said, I'll pay you 121. He sold it for 121. Yep.
So if you can summarize.
78.
So such properties are still available in Houston where you can, Houston, Austin.
This was very, very sweet. I think you have to go into those areas now. It has become more and more tougher. Depending on what you want to do. Houston has also really gone up since then. But there are deals always available. Some of the areas you may not want to drive, but you don't have to drive. You have contractors who can go do them. Right? Like you were mentioning, one of the people who buys houses for like $10,000 or $5,000. He doesn't even go there. He goes with guns. Not that you want to go there. Just drag it up Just drag it to your right hand side. Pick up the window and drag it to your right hand. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so talking about deals, I just thought maybe I should show you some.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you. Come here, man.
Oh, I'm doing something more?
Yeah.
Okay. What am I doing? Put a zip code in there. It's right here. Yeah, you have to put there, unfortunately.
Yogesh, I think I'm
Oh,
not
I have
reading.
Achha.
Another report.
I'm answering your question. Anyway, that's fine.
Kriti,
My daughter is driving
yeah,
out
but
from
she's already at home.
I know, you can leave, but I was, when you asked the question, are there deals?
Mm.
I would just go online and show it to you, like how you can find and what, like whatever we talked about.
Yeah, tell me, what do you want?
Just right.
Please tell me what it's
So go to homes for sale. This is har.com, which is the standard MLS, right? I don't even know what is going to come up, but I'm just showing some basic areas. Go to single family. If you want, you can go to foreclosure, but I'm just going to leave it. Let's do foreclosures.
Foreclosures, price reductions, right? These are the motivated sellers.
So, yeah. Now we can look at so many, let's look at only the houses that are available for sale. Or you can see how many are, we'll leave it all open for now to see. That way we know what is selling, what was the purchase price and what is under option, what is pending. Pending means, it's getting, so,
Almost.
So-
Under construction.
yeah.
What's
So
under
let's say minimum,
What's under option?
under option is it's under contract.
So somebody put a contract on it with the intention to buy it, so they still have a 10-day option saying,
Oh, okay.
they will do the inspections. And once the inspections are complete, they may come back saying, we want so much of repair or something, or they may say that, okay, we done the inspection, we like the house and we don't see any possible defects, so let's buy it. Or they still have the right to just walk away from the contract without giving you any reason. So you pay a small fee for it, but that's our option fee, right? So you pay $100, $200 depending on what kind of property you're buying. And you get the option to walk away from it in 5 or 7 days or 10 days.
Before even putting in this money.
Yes. The earnest money you gotta put in the first day.
Okay.
That goes to the title company, but that gives you the earnest money back.
Then 100.
Under your option, yeah. The $100, $200 is basically just like your insurance that you bought, saying 5 days may, if I change my mind, what am I gonna do?
Got it.
Max price.
So got it? So this is the standard, we'll go to all foreclosures to start with, and then any status, you can just make it all under, whatever is under currently available. The minimum, let's put minimum price of 10,000 because sometimes they make mistakes in putting the prices and we see so many things that are not actually the
For
price.
lease.
Or if there are leases, then it won't show up. Then you can do whatever criteria is good for you. You want to do 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. I recommend minimum 3 bedrooms because those are easy to sell. So let's do and then maximum how many bedrooms and all. If you are going to do a rental property, try to keep it as small as possible because that way for smaller you get bigger rent. But again, if you are okay with the bigger property, it appreciates more. People like it. Some people like it. Again, it's one-on-one. When we can talk about what is your budget. If you only have $20,000 to start, then I'll recommend something else. When you have 50,000 and you want to do it in a proper good area and all, we'll change that. Year built, you can do whatever, but I'm just going to leave it open. All I'm going to do is the maximum dollar per square feet. Again, it depends on, in single family, it depends on dollar per square feet. So you can do 30 minimum and all that. Let's do maybe $60 a square feet. Anything under $60 a square feet. So you know that maximum 60. That means it's supposed to be usually a good deal. I don't know how many will show up, but price. This is minimum square feet. Also, you can put in and all that. You can pick. I don't like how if you are renting. I don't like houses with swimming pool. If you are looking for rehab and flip, you keep it because you can look for that. That adds value. All those kind of stuff you can do so many. I'm just gonna do a basic search, and then what I'm gonna show here, trying to show hopefully. Oh, we got 240. I don't need so many, but so all these houses are under $60 a square feet. So now there you go. I mean, most of these are supposed to be good deals because in any market, usually nowadays at least $100 a square feet you can sell any house. I mean, if you fix it up, at least $100. So when you are buying it at $60, it is listed at 60 and under. So you can buy that at least at 60 or less. And then you add $10, $15 to it, you are still at $75 a square feet. Assuming that it is $100 a square feet price that you can sell it for. You are getting all the money, including the purchase price and the rehab price from the lenders. So you are getting a good deal anyways. As simple as that. Just look for it properly. Now, see, look, can you believe this 6,000 square feet house for 322? Does it 2 acre lot? Does it matter where it is? Eventually, you will sell it for at least $500,000. You buy that for 300, and let's look at it. This is under foreclosure. That's why. And the one thing, no, I know this girl. So 80-20 rule. If somebody has a good deal, click on it, open it up. I'm sure this is wherever it will open, but usually she will have good deals. I'll get into that. But let's look at the house. What do you think? Looks like a good deal? Looks like a good house, right? Decent house. It might be far away, but will you go far away to make $50,000? It might be 30 minutes, 1 hour drive, whatever it is. It's in Harris County, that means not that big.
Well, in Texas, if you live in Katy, it's 30-minute drive for you.
So,
45 minutes.
my goodness.
And it's 2 acres.
2 acre lot.
The Spanish, beautiful Spanish villa.
First, how much was it?
320,000.
But they will lend you maybe 400,000 on it. If it is around, see, I am giving conservative numbers at 500,000, but at $100 if it appraises, we'll also know we'll know exactly how much it is. Like I told you that one software, or you just call in a realtor, call that realtor and tell me what is the CMA report. Give me the report, tell me how much is it selling, or what are the other houses selling in that neighborhood. She will, and I'm assuming it will be at least $90 or $100 a square feet. That's it. First house is a good deal if you know how to find it. And you put the same address in Zillow.com. Let's do that.
You can just right click on that address.
Control.
Right click on that address and Google it. First thing you will see is Zillow. Right click, Google it.
Right click on that.
Search with Google. Yeah. Go down. Zillow. Third or fourth.
See, 322, of course, on that also you will see all that, but here, what I'm trying to say is here you get more, it's unbelievable. Dollar per square feet is 54. You go down, look at the price history, what is happening. In March, they were asking 475. Is that a good deal? I mean, they think it was 475, so almost 500. They themselves thought they will get. For whatever reason, they are not getting it. The realtor might not be good or whatever it is. You know, if you do a little bit more aggressive, if you are aggressive, you might be able to sell it for, and if it doesn't need much work, buy it for 300, sell it for 400. Even if it takes time, and you make 50,000 out of it. I just showed you right there. Look at the schools. The schools are not that great, but maybe in that area. Yeah, there's one thing I would like to mention. Yes, people say location, location, location. I think it is, it's of course good. You have to look at location. People who live in KT, they believe in that, and Sugarland, they believe in that. But people who live in this part of town, that's all they can afford. Or that's all, they live there by choice or without, like, no choice. They have to live there for whatever reason. So there'll be some people that you'll find. May not be for 500, but the point is, it's okay. That's the school they want, maybe. So.
But you need to hold, right?
Not necessarily. It depends. Would you want to, or can you be more aggressive? Or let's look at the zero value. Yeah.
Go.
Home value, right? Now it says 330, and it might be because how many days it's in market.
74.
Oh yeah, it's in market for long number of times. So what Zillow does, Zillow is not so good because it follows what you are listing. It's not that accurate, but you know the different ways. Or get an appraisal done for $100. For 100 now you'll know exactly what it will appraise. I mean usually they cost 350, 250 like that. But if you just do no, I don't need a whole report. Just give me an. And if you have good relations with the appraiser, he'll do it. And David and all those people, they said they'll give it to you for free. So you'll know exactly what it will appraise for and how much you can get in loan. And then based on that, you offer him. For 6 months, he's trying to sell from March or whatever. So he might take 250. And that's another thing. You can offer him 3 times. I'll buy it in 2 weeks for 250. Or I'll give you 250 now. And 100 and whatever, like if you need 320, then I'll give you 70,000 in 2 years. I'll give you a promissory note. So now you solve the problem of down payment. You go to David and say, I only need 250 or whatever. If you need to fix it, I only need 275. The rest you are paying him when you sell the house. And you take time, 2 years, no interest. Now you did creative financing for yourself. So there are many ways to do it. Just be
43 years old. 43 years old.
House?
43 years.
Yeah, that's fine. Who cares?
So does it matter that 30 years?
Eventually it
Built?
I mean the roof and
AC.
no, but if you look at the roof, it doesn't matter. It's a lifetime.
Right.
It's not your 30-year roof.
Lights, yeah.
Correct.
It's tiles.
It's almost 6,000 square feet house.
Yeah.
Now these tiles
It's a custom
for
home.
rent,
It's a custom home.
for rent it's fine.
Yeah.
Look at this. For $50, you can offer $50. You don't get much. Like if you look at a lot of deals like this, how do I?
Can I give you the neighborhood?
Control team.
Neighborhood.
Control team.
The neighbors, that's all the houses.
Oh, yeah, so here we can look at. See, the other houses are 195, 1,300 square feet for 195, just close by. So over what? 125-ish dollar per square feet. This guy is asking 140 per square feet. Can you sell for 80, 70 and still make money? Right, 1,300 square feet. But because it is smaller house, it's okay for 140. But you don't need 140.
So what are the chances of losing money here, Yogesh?
Chances of losing money?
Is there any chances? Like in what
Yes,
perspective?
I can't say there is no chance of losing money.
Yeah, but just
But if you have insurance, then most of it is covered. I thought I was a hero, right? So now I can't say. I didn't lose money in that deal, but.
No, what are the
so-
ways maybe?
Well, see, here's the thing. What are you losing? You're losing what you're putting into the deal. If the lender is lending you all the money, what are you risking? You're risking what you're putting in. If you're buying a stock and you're investing 20,000 into it, the chances are you lose all 20. Here also, if you're not putting 300 or 260 into the deal, you're only putting 10,000 because they are going to lend. So you're risking 10. But risk and reward, right? What are you going to gain? Maybe 30,000 at least, 20,000 at least. So your 10 will become 20. There's a reward for it. Of course, you can lose all 10. With real estate, it's very hard to lose. They say, right? Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. If it goes down, wait.
Just like a stock.
Yeah. Anyways, only 10,000 is invested. As long as you make 10,000 into 15, that's it. That's all you need, maybe, right? So
how do you buy a foreclosure property? Is there any special?
it's listed. No. It's just that usually the foreclosure properties are good deal. They are already foreclosed. It is with the bank. Now the bank is like, dude, I have a loan of 250 on it. I'm gonna try and sell it for 380, whatever I can get. If not, if it is foreclosure, it's more easier for you because there's no buyer, there's no seller. It's the bank. Now if you have good relations with the bank, now let's say you don't have relations with the bank, build relations. Who is it with? That bank. Okay, nowadays with social media it gets more easier. Go talk to them, take the donuts. Start. It may not be as easy at the, but start with there. Like, I know you own this property, I got these donuts for you, but can you tell me more? Sit there. Can we go for lunch? Bankers, awesome, free lunch. They will pay for lunch. You tell him I want to go for lunch with you, and then how do you get this property? How does it happen? What is the story on this? How much you lent? Okay, so now you know that his loan is 220. So is that a good thing to know that he lent only 220? He's asking 320, but loan amount is 220. So he will in the end he'll at least sell for 220. Then can you offer him, okay, can I just do a deal with you? Relations, they are people, even though they are bankers. What I mean, they are people, so make friends with them. You don't have to not be friends with the bankers. You want to be friends with your bankers. And if you know that, that's the inside. And then once let's say they are asking 320, but you get it for 225, 250. That's a great deal. You sell it to somebody for 300 in assignment fees.
You said the risk is that 10,000 you put
Yes.
down, right?
Yes.
And then there is this amount that the lender is giving.
Yes.
And the risk is you lose that whole month.
Yeah, he'll take the property. Yes.
He'll take the property.
Yeah, he'll take the
And
property.
then does it through a credit and
Good question. Good question. Does it? Yes, it will. It might ruin your credit, but there are ways of doing it as well. In the worst case, you tell him, "No, I couldn't do it. You take over." If you do it in a LLC, initially yes, it might ruin your credit. But if you do it, I don't know if it's in single family, but eventually, if you get into commercial, there is. Help me. So there is a term called non-recourse loans. That means it doesn't go on your credit, it goes on the property or in the LLC. It's called non-recourse loan. Now, if you are taking a risk like this, there is a chance that you will not have to sign personal guarantee. It's just based on the asset, and they know that. So it's only asset-based lending. So you are not signing personal guarantee. If you sign personal guarantee, then it goes on your credit.
So even though the LLC is like just 1 day old, they will still loan you.
They'll still loan you based on,
the asset.
yes. Again, based on relations, based on the deal. If the deal is so good, and they might be able to do it. Because all they need, you might say, I don't even need 75%, I only need 70%, or I only need 60% of the market value. The market value is, I think, 500, 60% of this 300, I might be buying for 250. The banker himself will do it. You keep it on your records. Let me lease it, lease to own. Let me have an option to buy. That means, like, give me an option for a year. Within a year I'll buy it for 300. So no need of loan. With the bank, it might be just an option that if I'll fix the property, I'll do whatever rehab if I don't buy it from you, keep the better property. So there are creative ways of doing things. So,
the best way is to do the LLC, right? We know the famous example of Donald Trump, the president. He's been banned for 100 times, 2 or 3 times, right?